Hello, everybody. So, I recently found a new crystal shop and I have a little bit of a haul. So, we're going to do the haul. Then, we're going to unbox two new decks that I got at that crystal shop. I'm also going to talk about my experience with an astral projection class at that same shop. And then, if we feel like it, we can do some readings. So, if anybody joins the live and wants some free live readings, I'm happy to oblige. I can use the new decks or I can use some of the decks that I normally use, but we are going to get into it. So, first, let me show you my bags. This one's a little heavy because it has the decks in it. And then this one. Woo! So we're just going to go ahead and unbox the haul and take a look at what I got. And I'm excited. So let's get into it. All right. First off, I got this Witch's Love Spell book. This is so cute. I've never seen this before. And one of the things I like going to crystal shops is that I will buy random things that I wouldn't get online. You know what I mean? Because like you see it, it catches your attention. And you just kind of vibe off of it. And I had to find a new crystal shop. I forgot to say this part because my local shop closed down. So where I am in Texas, I had a shop that was like super cute, but they just closed down. And so I'd been looking for a new place to go. And the other day I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it. Okay, so I also got this cute little tarot bag with the moon moth, which I love. So it's purple, it's velvety. I just really like it. I think it's super cute. Do I often keep my tarot decks in pouches and bags? No. Would I like to? Also, no, but I like the bags. I think they're fun. Anyway, this one just really caught my attention. So I grabbed that. All right. So those are the first two items. And then the next one, you can tell by its careful packaging, is a little bit delicate. I'm really excited about this one. I'm sure you can guess what it is. Does anybody want to intuitively guess what's in here before I open it? Do some ASMR. I really hate ASMR. Okay. I don't know where the tape begins and ends, so I'm going to get out my little handy knife and open it up. All right. You can tell this is a real haul unboxing because this is all not pre-cut. I'm doing it live. If any of you are in the DFW area, I'm going to say go ahead and check this place out. It's in Plano. It's super, super cute. It's really well merchandised, and she has a lot more stuff than it looks at first. Like she's got her store laid out so well that you actually can't see everything at first. So this is spirit quartz. This is a really big piece. Personally, I love spirit quartz, and to get such a big piece was like really, really special. Look at that. And yeah, Jeremy. Hi, Jeremy. Thanks for joining. Yeah, it is so pretty. It's a little darker in person. My lights are washing it out a little bit. So it is a darker purple than it. Let me see if I can. You can kind of get, I'm blocking my light a little bit. You can kind of get a better view. It is very sparkly. Like you can see all the different points on it. This is such a special piece. And her price was really, really good. Spirit quartz can be a little spendy. As I mentioned, I do have some smaller pieces, and this just really, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And that's kind of one of my rubrics for getting something is like, hey, am I going to regret it if I don't get it? Am I going to think about this later? And I knew that I absolutely would. So she says she gets really good prices from her distributor for crystals, and I did think that the crystals here were much better priced than the previous shop I used to go to. So keep that in mind. Like significantly better price. The crystal shop that closed down, I didn't actually buy crystals there. I would get other supplies, but not crystals because they were really, really overpriced. All right, and then okay, hang on. Okay, I also got this little tiny spoon. For like herbs or whatever. I don't know. I have some other spoons. I just thought that was so cute. It is so small. I don't know if you can see the scale of it, but it is itty bitty. And I got some black salt, which you can use for like protection and stuff. But I just thought the little spoon and the salt, they were just too perfect. I love teeny tiny things. I especially love teeny tiny food, which is why I like really love sushi and like dumplings and things like that. I just love small things. So Yeah. Okay. And then I got this little tumble. She's got really good prices on like the small tumbles as well. So this is rhodochrosite. And whenever you get any crystals from her, you also get an information card with it, which is super nice. So it tells you like the chakras, the elements, and the affirmation to say with the crystal, which is super helpful. And then on this side, it gives you all of the properties of any of the crystals you're getting. And again, I buy a lot of crystals from a lot of different places. Never have I found a place where you get a card for every crystal you purchase like this. And I find it helpful because I'll buy crystals and later I'm like, why did I want that? And what was that for? And what even is that? Because carnelian looks so much like, whatever. I'm always like, what did I get again? So super happy she does this. Yeah, very, very, very pretty. And so all of the little items she packed in this bag. So all of the little itty bitty things were together in this bag. So yes, I can't stop looking at my spirit quartz. I'm sorry. It's just so gorgeous. I want to bite it. It looks like candy. Don't bite it. It's not good. All right. What else do we have? So in her little book section, I also got this self-care for Virgo book. Yes, I'm a Virgo. I know a lot of people don't like Virgos, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry we're always right. We are. But I know we can be kind of jerks about it. But this is self-care for Virgo. I just thought this was super, super cute. They had one for each of the astrology signs. And so it's just kind of fun. I don't know. I just thought this would be fun. I'm definitely in my self-care era. Like a lot of December is all about like internal work and self-care and all that fun stuff. And so just knowing that Virgos tend to have certain temperaments and similar issues, use yoga to recharge. Yes, that is on my plan for the week. All right. We have a few more things before we look at the new decks. I'm sorry, this bag is really heavy and I don't want to drop anything. Okay. And then the crystal, the big spirit quartz came with this stand. I'm not going to muck around with it on camera. It's not going to come across very well, but the stand is actually really good because you can angle the crystal up. Like, so that stand looks super weird, but it's actually really good to angle the crystal up. And then it's like stable, like in a standing position. And I appreciate that because with some of the bigger pieces, like when you see them from this angle, it's not always that exciting. But to be able to have a stand that angles it like vertically like that, you really get the full, view of the very expensive crystal you just got. I'm going to say that's ASMR too. She has this fun, wow, her tissue paper is branded as well. That's super fun. I also really like the shop owner. So while I was shopping, she came up and very chill, unobtrusively, like chatted me up, talked as much or as little as I wanted, and was really engaging. So really loved the shop owner. Her name's Tracy. So this is a cute little box I got. It's like a little trinket box. They had lots of different designs. This one is like super handmade. You can tell that the inlay isn't super even. And to me, that's not a quality issue. That's actually more of a hand construction thing where you're getting pieces that aren't mass produced and they feel more unique and you can kind of feel the craftsmanship. So this is real wood. It's a fun little trinket box. Obviously, it's not that big. I'm looking around to see what I got that could fit in it, like the spoon and that small crystal, Or you could just, anyway, you could do a lot of different things with this. You could put some black salt in it. Anyway, I just thought that was really cute. Oh, all right. I forgot I got this. I like this quite a bit. So this was a really good price, to be honest. So this is a selenite cleansing bowl. And so you can put your crystals in here to cleanse their energy and recharge them. And as you know, different crystals do more or less well with things like sunlight and other things like that. So you can always like charge your crystals in the sun. And you can cleanse them in the sun too, but just to have a nice cleansing bowl so you can put, a bunch of different crystals in here, really cleanse their energies. That really stood out to me. So I'll talk more about this in a little bit, but I went to this astral projection class yesterday, super fun. And she gave us a goodie bag. And in the goodie bag, she gave us hand selected crystals. And she had put the goodie bags on each of the mats. And then you choose which mat when you go into the class. And then she's like, everybody gets a goodie bag. And then she's like, you intuitively chose your goodie bag when you chose your spot. So they were all different, which I didn't realize. And mine had blue calcite in it, which is good for like protecting the aura of empaths and everything. Great. Not something I would have been drawn to, but something I actually do need. What was my point? Oh, and so I was telling her, yeah, I didn't expect to get blue calcite. Like that's just not something I would normally be drawn to. And she was like, yeah, that was actually my favorite of the crystals. So she had apparently picked out crystals for all the goodie bags before the class and she had handled them. So I'm sitting there going, oh, so she told me she spent like a few minutes like holding the blue calcite, that was like her favorite one of all the crystals she picked out that day. And she's like, yeah, I just really sat up here and held on to it for like, 10, 15 minutes. And in my head, I'm like, I don't want your energy on my crystal. I know that sounds terrible, but I was like, yes, very glad to have a cleansing bowl to cleanse any energy because especially you don't know who's been handling your crystal before you bought it. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. And then the other thing I really liked about the shop was that she had this huge display of all her tarot and oracle decks. And she had an open version of each of them and sample cards out. So you can actually see the cards. A lot of times, like you're taken by the artwork of the box, but you don't get necessarily a good view of all the different cards that are in there. And she'll take them out of the case and you can handle the cards and you can see, because we're always looking at like texture and weight and stiffness and card quality. And so you can get a good feel for both the artwork and the actual like physical feel of the cards. So again, this place is called DFW Crystals. It's in Plano, Texas. So if you're in the area, I highly recommend. So the first deck I got is this Star Maiden Tarot. This is heavy. We'll open it up in a second. I'm going to show you both boxes and then we'll open them up and unbox them together. I'm so excited. If the shop sounds significantly better than your previous one, it is. You're right, Jeremy. The crystals are a better price, and the tarot deck experience, having them out and open like that, so much better. So yeah, it's definitely a better shop. It's just really far away. The shop that closed was like, not even a full exit up on the freeway, or maybe like one exit, and this one's like 25 minutes away. It took me 30 minutes to get home last night in the rain. But that's fine. We're doing more things this year. All right, Star Maiden Tarot. Very, very pretty. I cannot wait to show you the deck. This one blew me away when I saw it. And again, it's not one I would have picked up online. The box was like nice, but the cards really stood out to me. And the other one is the Wisdom of the Wild Things Oracle. So I can't wait to get into these decks. They have amazing artwork. We're not going to do a full flip through today. So we're going to do an unboxing. So if you want a full flip through, put it in the comments. Otherwise, we're just going to look at like a few of the cards and then move on and talk about the Astral Projection Class. And I'm excited to know if anybody else has done anything like that and what their experiences are like with the Astral, because this is my first time trying it. Anyway, so we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, let's unbox these decks. And then again, if anybody does want a free reading, we're doing free readings today. If anybody joins and wants a reading. All right, so, sturdy box, really pretty, nice, very thick, very, very thick guidebook. And then let's get into the cards. And again, not doing a full flip through unless somebody wants it. We can do another video for a full flip through, but I'm not feeling it today. Ooh, this is so pretty. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, this was the textured one. Okay, this is exciting. So first of all, first of all, I'm going to show you this like blue metallic sides. That's pretty unusual. The backs are pretty unassuming, which I don't mind, like stars and everything, but this, can you hear that? Like it is a textured card. I don't even know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see the grid pattern of the texture when I kind of angle it like that. So yeah, this is a fun textured card. This is very different. These are very slippery cards, by the way, which I like. I want my cards like jumping, right? But if you look at the artwork, let me take a few from the major. Okay, I know we're not going to do a full flip through, but I really want to look at the whole major arcana. One second, let me pull out the majors for a second. So I'm going to fan them out and then we can look at a few specific ones. But just look at that, like such bold artwork and patterns and such gorgeous colors. Yeah, this is not like generic or anything at all. Like Look at the Fool juggling the moons in the different phases. Like, look at these cards. We're just going to do a really quick showing. We're not going to dwell on it, but we're going to show all the cards of the major arcana really quick so you can understand why I was like, I have got to get this deck. Like, just amazing artwork. And the minor arcana looks really good too. We're not going to do a flip through, but all the cards in the minor are really well done as well. Like, look at that strength card. Like, just again, the artwork on these is incredible. The Hermit card is blowing me away. Like, I saw that when I was opening up. I was like, oh my gosh. Apparently, I love the Hermit card. And the Wheel of Fortune, like, what a fun wheel to have the Ouroboros, you know, the snake eating his tail, as the Wheel of Fortune, and to have all the different the symbols in there. That's crazy. If you want me to go slower on any particular card, just holler, just put it in chat, and I can slow down, or I can go back to a particular card, like if you have a favorite card. Look at that Death card holding a flower. Like, oh my gosh, right? This deck is just amazing. I cannot wait to work with it. Look at the Devil card. Like, these are just such different representations than you see in any deck. Okay, we do have the lightning bolts, which I think we now know is table stakes for me in a tower card, is to have the lightning bolts on the tower. That's the bare minimum. Okay, look at this star here. I'm going to move my finger so you can see the card better. Look at how pretty she is. Like, what an amazing card. Okay, and then the moon, gorge, the sun. Oh my gosh, with the eye, and then judgment, blowing her trumpet. Yes. Love that. And then the world. So that is the major arcana of this deck. And again, this is the Star Maiden Tarot deck. If you're interested in it, I'm assuming you can get it online. After the live, I will go ahead and put a link to, I'll find a link to the deck and put it for anybody who's watching on replay. But yeah, this is super cute. Let me find my sister's favorite minor arcana card really quick and see what that looks like. She loves the Three of Cups. So let's look for that one. Okay. Yeah, the girl's having fun. Look at that. They're dancing around. They've got their cups. So cute. So if you're not already following the channel on TikTok, I do daily readings over on TikTok. I'll try and start doing more readings here on YouTube. But in the meantime, if you do want more frequent readings, check us out on TikTok. It's the Mystic Sisters 1111 on TikTok. All right, now we're going to get into the second deck, which is just as good as this one. Spoiler alert. I still have 3 other new decks I need to go through. I forgot about that. Trying not to cut the box. Okay. This one, again, totally caught my attention from like across the room. It's like a romance movie with me in this deck. Okay. So look at this side opening right here. Look at this with the mushrooms, but also just how different this box is. This is not like your standard box. So it folds and opens, but just to have the flap be a distinctive, unique shape like that. Oh my gosh. And it comes with a bag. Okay. Who does that? Nobody. Love it. And a super big, amazing guidebook. We love a good guidebook. And she is colorful. Oh my gosh. I just opened it to this random page and it's like a full spread of just artwork. You're going to see why I love this deck. Hang on. I'm trying to open the plastic carefully so I don't cut the cards at all. Because they are painted, coated edges. I don't know what you call them. And I don't want to scrape that off, but go ahead and see. It's like this weird off black, dark silvery gray kind of edge, which I like. My face is not that I don't like it. I do like it. And they are very slippery. They're not quite as slippy as the other deck we looked at, but this is probably like, if that's, you know, a 10 out of 10 on slippiness, this is like a 9 plus on slippiness, but look at how gorgeous these backs are of these cards. Are those fennec foxes? I think they are. Just so cute with those big ears. And then all of the artwork is like that. Beginnings. Communion. Just look at how cute this art style is. Like it is so me. Invite your monster to tea. I love that. Oh my gosh. I used to do a team building exercise for leadership teams called Find Your Inner Monster. This is so cute. Be yourself. I should probably do a leadership live on my other channel. Transition. Look at how cute that is. Oh my gosh. Look at the play card. Yeah, this is one of the ones that stood out to me. She had this as one of the display cards, and this is like the one that I was like drawn to like a freaking magnet. Look at that. Little skeleton girl in her dress with her skull head, which is a candy. I mean, come on. Look at this. Let yourself be carried. Oh. Remember the bones. Oh my gosh. Jeremy likes that play card. Jeremy, I was going to ask you, but I was like, I don't know if you're multitasking, but like, I thought you would like this one as well. Like, I would like a full size print of this card and put it up in my room. Like, I would love that. Bravely Go. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Laughter Heals. This is an amazing oracle deck. Intentional Stillness. Look at that. So cute. Beware the happy toxins. How cute is that? I don't even know what that means. I'm going to look that card up. That is so cute. Okay. I said it wouldn't be a full flip through, so I'm not going to go through the entire deck, but I'm glad we saw like the play card. That was one of the big standouts to me. Oh my gosh, look at this. Don your witch hat. Like, girl, remember, you're a witch. Put your hat on and get out there. Look, I love that. Oh my gosh, I want a print of that one too. I'm going to have to look up the artist for this deck and see if she does sell prints. A lot of them do for these like really cool art style decks. Oh my gosh, yeah, this whole deck is amazing. Light the Candle of Grace. Oh my gosh. I'm losing my mind. These are so amazing. Yeah, all of these cards are so cool. And then here's that fox again that's on the back of the card. Navigate with flow. Navigate with flow. Like, don't resist the pull of the universe. Don't resist the direction. Stop fighting. Stop fighting. Bury your dead. Oh my gosh, these cards are so good. Okay. All right, last one. Quest in the subconscious. Okay, I said last one, but I'm going to show you one more. Look at that. Welcome the unwelcome. Okay, so yes, that's it for my haul from DFW Crystals. Sorry, my cards are, I was too excited going through them and now they're a little messy. We can't have that kind of messiness. And then the inside of the box. Like, look at how cute that is. Okay, so yeah, I highly recommend both of these decks. I'll try and find links to them and put them in the video description for anybody who's watching on replay and wants to get them, because these are both really, really good. And if you live anywhere in the Dallas, kind of the DFW area, I highly recommend going to DFW Crystals. She's been open since August, and so she's a little bit new-ish. Plenty of parking. I know that that's always my big question, is how easy is parking? Plenty of parking, super easy. Shop is super cute inside, and the owner is like really, really helpful and amazing. So the other thing when I went on my first visit was she was very welcoming, and, you know, I had told her that I used to go to this shop, you know, closer to my house that had closed. We talked about all of that because she was very familiar with that as well. And then as I was checking out, she was telling me about their class schedule. And so I'm kind of in this phase where two things collided, where I was open to this. One of them is I'm working on my personal year. I'm calling it my year of trying everything. And yes, I'm starting it in December because why not? It's a practice run in December, maybe. I don't know. So, I want to try more things. I really want to do more classes. I just want to get out more. But the other thing is I'm really looking for more spiritual community in the area. And I wouldn't say that that's a thing that I need, it's a thing that I want, and the reason I wouldn't say it's a need is because my sister, the other mystic sister, Amy, the blonde one, she is such a great community with me. Like, I feel like together we've created a community for each other, and we have so much fun working, on the spiritual together and talking, and, our interests align pretty well, plus we have different interests that we can bring to each other, so I love that. So wanting more community really is a want, not a full-on need, right? But when the owner of the shop, Tracy, was talking to me, she was telling me, "I hope you find your new community here." And just, her saying that, like, it just really resonated with me. And I've been to a ton of crystal shops all over the Metroplex. No one has said that to me in any of the shops I've been to. They've invited me to classes, they've told me about their events, but just no one has actually said that. And so I really got the vibe, and she did confirm this later, that she is really intentional about building community in the area. It's not just a shop to her, it is a community. And then when I was there on my second visit, like, her mom was there and, some friends came in. Like, I just really felt like she has a community around her and she's trying to extend that to other people. That's meaningful to me. That's what I'm trying to do in my work life as well. And so that really, it felt like a kinship between me and her. So we really clicked, really love the owner. And then also when she was talking about the classes, um, she has like a chakra meditation class. There was this astral projection class, which I did end up going to, and I'll tell you about in a minute. And then there is a birth chart class, which is really interesting because my sister was the one who introduced me to birth charts. That's not something I'd heard about before. And it's the class they have is about simplifying birth charts. And I think they have like another, like a fourth one that's like guided meditation. So the one that was the soonest class from when I went in was the astral projection class. So Friday afternoon, and I have been really interested in astral projection. So part of my personal spiritual journey and part of my spiritual awakening is I've started to awaken to this awareness that I don't feel like I'm 100% here. Like, I feel like there is a certain part of my consciousness that is somewhere else. And when I write, sometimes when I do my best writing, I genuinely feel like I'm tapping into something else and channeling that in my writing. So I feel like I have this inherent, constant, deep connection to something else. And part of my spiritual journey has been like this serious interest in the Akashic records and being able to just tap in to this subconscious knowledge and connection I think that we all have to the knowledge of the universe. But I love the idea that there's no information that's ever lost. There's no data that's ever lost. Just like energy, can't ever truly be destroyed. I feel like knowledge is the same way. So this idea that the Akashic records exist and that all the knowledge of the universe is contained somewhere. So to me, I don't think of it as being like a physical library. To me, I think of it as almost like data that's encoded in the structure of the universe in some way. But I think we all just have different metaphors for how we access, the spiritual. I think, oh my goodness, there's something in my hair. I don't know what that was. Probably part of my breakfast, to be honest. So that's part of why I've been really interested in astral projection. But, there's a lot of stuff on TikTok right now about, astral travel and moving on different planes and different dimensions and shifting of consciousness. There's just a lot that we're kind of rediscovering as a community right now. And so I just really wanted to go to this class. It called to me. It was the one that was nearest in time. I signed up, I went, so excited. And in her shop, I forgot to mention this about the shop. She has a room she calls the Zen Den that anybody visiting can go in and close the door. It's dark. There's a water feature thing. There's crystals. She's got sound bowls. And so you can go in there and just meditate and just zen out by yourself. I did that on my first trip and I really enjoyed it. I was like, where are they having these classes? It's just the shop and then the Zen room. Like, do they like rearrange the Zen den for classes, which is going to mess up the vibes? No, just spoiler alert. No. So when I went, she was so happy that I had signed up and she remembered me and greeted me again. She's legit. And there's a different room that the door was like right there, but it's really kind of incognito. So I'd missed the door to the room where they do classes. It is an amazing space. And so you go in and there are little cubbies and baskets, and she has the name of every person in the class on the basket. So you put your stuff in the basket. There's a shoe rack. You take your shoes off in the room, which I should have thought about. I wore Birkenstocks, so I could easily take my shoes off and on. That room, very cold. It's very chilly. I wish I'd brought socks. But there were these great mats and like a podium and a stand for whoever's, leading or facilitating whatever kind of session. So there's these like really thick yoga mats, and each of them had like a neck roll pillow and a black fuzzy blanket. So cute. Loved the aesthetic and the vibes. And I put the blanket on. And then the instructor told us later that if you can't lay flat during a session for any reason, you can put a special accommodation request when you book the class and say you need like a chair, and they have these amazing reclining chairs. I might do that next time. So the astral projection part. Oh, and then I mentioned before that there's a goodie bag on each of the mats. So when you choose your mat, you are unknowingly, intuitively choosing a different version of the goodie bag. The goodie bag was great, by the way. So the class was only $25, which I thought was a very reasonable price, and the goodie bag was stocked. So in each goodie bag, there was an oracle card. And what was so funny is that the oracle card is from the deck I read from on TikTok all the time, this Clarifying Life Situations deck. This is one of my favorite decks. And the card I got came in this direction, because remember the cards are ambidextrous, but it came this way, which is Ignite Creation. And I've been working a lot on creating, basically. And you get a crystal, another crystal, some oils. Like, honestly, it's a really good bag. It's full of stuff. I think the price of the class is actually too low considering that it's a great facility. The instructor is getting paid, and then you get this like goodie bag, which I thought had a very high value with all the crystals. Oh, and a bracelet, a chakra crystal bracelet. Anyway, it was a very good goodie bag. So then you lay down and she takes you basically through a guided meditation and connecting to your astral self, and then grounding your chakras and aligning them, and then moving into the astral plane. So the experience I had was not like the experience everybody else in the room had. And I think that was one thing. Since this was my first time, I wasn't sure. She gives you a very specific and structured process. And then once you're on the astral plane, she's basically giving you guideposts along the way. I do think that if you've never done it before, I think it's important to know that you may not literally have that same experience and that your experience might be unique. It actually kept taking me out of the experience for me to keep realizing I wasn't seeing what she was describing. And maybe it's because I'm not there yet. Like, maybe I need to practice this a few times to get to the place she was taking me to. I was in a different place. And so when I kind of entered the astral plane, it honestly felt like I was in just like this vast expanse. Like I was literally in the whole of the universe itself. And so I think having a guide is good, because I think she's trying to take you on a journey and on a path within, like, just picture yourself being in a really big space where there's no roads and you don't know which direction to go. And so I think the point of the guide is that she's guiding you. Sorry if that sounds obvious, but I couldn't figure out, and I couldn't get out of my head enough because I wasn't seeing what she was describing. And I kept kind of swirling on, am I supposed to be creating it? Like, is this a metaphor? And the metaphor is going to manifest based on her description because you create that? Or is that literally what it looks like and you need to find the path to that place? I still don't know that I know the answer, but I did not see what she was describing. And maybe I was stuck. Maybe my third eye wasn't open enough because everything, it looked like I was looking at it through a filter, as if I wasn't seeing clearly. But I was in she was describing golden arches and golden this and light that and this like bright light temple full of like books. And I was just really resisting the idea that there were these like physical things, like a physical book that you could like open and read. Like to me, that just wasn't the metaphor that worked for me. And that is not where I was. I was in a much darker place. I did eventually see like this giant monolithic temple looking thing, but it was dark. It was like it was made out of like mm, I can't think of the stone, but one of those black stones, not onyx, but the one that's you know, not hematite because that's shiny, but whatever. I'm not going to get caught up in the fact that I always lose the names of crystals when I'm trying to find them, but I have it. But it looked like it was made out of that material. Like it was a giant black temple. And I saw obsidian. No, that's what I'm saying. It's not obsidian. It's like, anyway, it'll come to me. But it was made of like that. And then I also saw before I got there, when I was in the vastness, I kept seeing like this eye, like this black pinprick eye. And it wasn't scary. It wasn't like, oh no, I saw the eye of Sauron in space on the astral plane. No, it wasn't like that. She also, the oil she gives you, by the way, she also gives you the spray to like cleanse yourself and protect your aura while you're on the plane. So she helps you with the grounding and the protection, all that. So don't worry about that. No bad juju comes back with you. I'm saying that because I was clearly in a very dark place, but I saw this like pinprick of an eye. But really, the vibe I got was almost like I was seeing the beginning of the universe or the beginning of a universe. So if you think about this like really pinprick point within the universe, it was like all of the condensed matter before, the Big Bang, before it explodes out. And so this is going to sound crazy what I'm about to say, but I'm just going to say it. I felt like I was in a different place and it was darker, but not in an evil way. So I felt like I spent a lot of time in this big formless place with this pinpoint eye. And when I was in that place, I almost felt like I was in like a creator's space. Like, I don't know if you've ever played like a video game that allows you to enter into a different mode where you're in like creator mode or builder mode. And then it's like kind of blank and you have to figure out like the menus to access the supplies and the materials to build something. Like I literally felt like I was in a maker's space version of the universe, like before the Big Bang. But I'm not saying I went backwards in time because I don't think time is necessarily linear. I think I was literally in a different place. And what was really interesting is I'm going to say this again, the card I got was Ignite Creation. And I always think of myself as a creator and as a builder. And it really felt like I was in a new place that had all of the potential of creation to it. And I wasn't in this other place that she was describing with all this like existing structure. And in her journey, you go through this arch and this other arch, you're really progressing. That is not where I was. And then you're in the library and there's the books. And then you go to this like place where there's like people and you can talk to people and there's like a garden of connection. Again, I think these are useful metaphors. And some people in the room went to that place and they talked about it afterwards. That's not where I was. I was in creation. That's all I can say is I was in a different place. And it was like I was in creation. That's the only way to put it. I wasn't scared. I didn't feel bad. I felt mildly annoyed that I wasn't seeing what everybody else was seeing, but I didn't have any emotions, And so that's how I know that it wasn't like my physical experience because I have a lot of feelings all the time and they're very big. I had no emotions where I was. So even my awareness of being annoyed that I wasn't where they were wasn't an emotional annoyance. It was kind of like, I just wish she would stop talking because it was honestly distracting me from the experience I was having. So then after I left that place and I saw the temple, like, I actually felt like at that point I was in the underworld, you know? So I wasn't in, like, this big shiny place. I see this, like, dark temple, so it felt like I left, like, the creator place and went to the underworld, but I didn't see any, like, lost souls, and it still wasn't scary at all. It wasn't, like, evil. It was just a different plane than where everybody else landed. And it was so funny because I was telling someone about this afterwards, and I'm not wearing it right now. I'm wearing this instead, but I was wearing my key, that my golden key I wear a lot, necklace, and that key is supposed to be the key to the underworld. You know, it's the key to the gates of the underworld. And for me, I wear a key to represent knowledge and access to knowledge. And so I wore the key thinking that I'm going to go to the astral plane and maybe even reach the Akashic records, and that the key was my symbol of access to this knowledge that I'm trying to reach. And I guess where I'm going is I feel like I'm kind of naturally keyed into that space anyway. And in my efforts to go on this like longer journey she described, I think I like went somewhere else entirely. So that was my experience with it. And I think that, you know, I'm going to be looking up other videos or maybe even on a podcast, somebody who does it, and maybe just find a guide where the process they use to access the astral is maybe more aligned with how I work and where I am. Because I do want to do this again. I definitely felt like there's a lot of places you can go on the astral, and I just think I need a different way of accessing it. So after the class, I talked to Tracy, the owner, and I was asking her, you know, does everybody see the same thing? Do people see different things? And she basically affirmed that people see different things and that her experience with astral travel is different from what the teacher was describing and different from what I experienced too. She's like, yeah, it is very individualized. And so I was like, okay, cool. But a lot of people in the class shared their experiences, and everybody kind of did have a different experience. And, you know, some people wanted to stay longer in one place and not move as quickly through the different elements of it. It was kind of like you're on a really quick tour, you know? So let's say you're on a cruise and it takes a really long time to get on the cruise ship. But once you're there, it feels like you're like going from port to port really quickly to give you like a sampling of the ports. And then you might want to go back and spend more time in a specific country or specific city. That's kind of how this felt. This is your introduction to the astral. You're going through these like different locales pretty quickly, but it's your first time. And so then you know when you go back, I want to spend more time here and more time there. So I did enjoy the instructor. It was a great introduction. I just don't think she's the guide for me. And when it comes to classes, I think that, you know, finding a teacher that resonates with you is super important. And then when it comes to this specific shop, like again, if you're in the area and you're considering this, they have a lot of different classes. If you're looking for an introduction to astral, definitely take this. Again, I think it was a great price. I think the instructor was a super, super, super nice lady. It was definitely not a bad experience by any means. It's just me saying, yeah, this was an introductory class basically. And I now know enough to know that I want to find more guides on this process and maybe somebody who's a little bit more aligned with my own energy. Because I'm not, you know, vibing with like the light workers. Like I'm just not all like sunshine and rainbows basically. And that's okay. Right. And so I love that Tracy, as the store owner, brings in these different teachers and has these different kinds of sessions. And I'm definitely going to try all of them. I want to go to all the classes. Obviously, it's the end of the year, so you know, schedule is permitting. I want to try all of them. But I'm very interested if anybody else has had an experience with the astral at all and what it was like. And I really want to know if somebody had something that was just so opposite of what was being described, like I did, because I just thought that was like, I don't know, I just thought it was really interesting that what I was seeing was literally like the opposite of what she said I was going to be seeing. I also do think some of that is practice on my part. It was my very first time. And so I think that, you know, I'll get more practiced in all of it, like seeing more clearly and being able to find certain paths. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And then Tracy said that she does a lot of this kind of on her own as well. And so that helped me feel like that's a safe thing to do. But I do think that you do need to be grounded and do some of the spiritual protection, whatever that looks like for you, you know? But yeah, anybody watching this live on replay, I'd love to hear like if you are interested in astral, if you've tried it, and if you're in the area and you have a class you want to recommend to me, I am totally open to recommendations because again, this is my year of trying everything. So I know that some of the places my sister and I've been to in different parts of DFW have offered their classes as well. So I might do that because Plano is supposed to be close to me, but this part of Plano is not close to me. I would have been, you know, that could be anywhere in the Metroplex in the time it took me to get to this place. So I'm open to going to more places. So this has been my haul unboxing, look at the 2 decks, and then talking about the astral experience. And then if anybody's joining who wants me to do a reading, I'm happy to do some free readings. But you know, we can also wind down and I can schedule a time later to do just some focused readings. But this was fun. I love trying new stores. I obviously love shopping and getting things. I actually really am happy to unbag and unbox on live just so everybody can see for themselves. And yeah, highly recommend the shop. Recommend both of the decks we just looked at and interested in doing more astral and more classes. So thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one. And if you're not following my TikTok, go over there to Mystic Sisters 1111. I do daily readings over there, and I will start more readings on YouTube. I'm curious to know if people want more readings on YouTube, just because I am getting more traction on TikTok. So I'm very curious if readings on YouTube, if there's an interest in that. All right, everybody, enjoy your Sunday. I'll see you soon. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining, and I'll see y'all later. Thanks. Bye.